Hi everyone, I'm Rosemary, and today I'm going to be painting this dragon mug. Now, it's called a dragon mug, but because we did it in acrylics, we will not be using it to drink out of. I mean, acrylics are non-toxic, but it would leak because it's porous. So you wouldn't want to pour any liquids in here, so we're using this for a pencil holder or a catch-all for anything that you desire to put in there. So I went ahead and I painted the inside. Now, I suggest you don't paint the inside if you're working from those strips. Don't paint the inside until you finish the outside, so you can see what paint you have extra, and then you can put that inside. Make sure you have enough paint for the outside of the piece, okay? So I think what I will do next is the purple, which I didn't get purple, so let me just grab a purple over here. All right, I'm going to be using a purple that's probably a little different than what you have, because I'd have to go downstairs and get that purple. So, whoops. I'm going to be using a little different purple. This one is called Pansy. So there's no right or wrong. You can do whatever you like. So I'm going to paint the all the background, the flat areas of the mug, including the bottom. Always do the bottoms. And all around the dragon. Everything but the dragon. Okay, so we're going to be painting that in the purple. I'll start with the bottom. So you can see this is a little different than what I had on that one. But like I said, there's no right or wrong. I kind of like the darker purple better, but I don't have it in front of me right now, so I'm doing a little lighter purple. Don't put a lot of paint in your brush because you have to watch that you don't get it all over the dragon. If you get a little bit on the dragon, you can cover it with a couple of coats, but try not to get too much on there. You have two brushes, whatever you know, if you want to edge with the smaller brush, you can. And always go back and make sure your paint is nice and smooth. Don't glob your paint on. Okay, so I only put a little bit of paint in the brush, and then I kind of outline the dragon. Like I said, you can do it with a smaller brush. This is sometimes what I will do is I will go around with the smaller brush and edge, like that first, and then take your bigger brush and do the bigger areas that are not bordering the dragon. But I'm going to try to wing it with the bigger brush. But you can take your time. There are areas I'm going to have to go back and use the smaller brush. But for now, I'm just using the bigger brush. See how I kind of scoop it? I lay it down and I scoop it under his wings, even though it's the bigger brush. But I see that I have a lot of ridges in my paint over here, so I want to make sure that you smooth that out before it dries. So don't leave your paint wet. You actually pull it until it's just about dry. Okay, see how I keep going back and I keep touching up? Let me move this guy a little bit so you can see a little bit more. It's a cute piece, right? Adorable. Okay, so we'll just keep pulling that out. I noticed something else I don't have in front of me here. I guess I didn't get too prepared. There's glitter on him. I'm not sure if I gave you glitter or not, but if I didn't, then you can use any glitter that you get in the store. This is a liquid glitter. It's a paint-on glitter. It just makes it shine a little. That might just be a sealer. It might not even be the glitter that's on there. It might just be a sealer. Okay, but you see how nice the big brush does it? It actually scoops around underneath his wings, whatever they're called. What are they called on a dragon? You probably know better than I do. Okay, now how far did I go under here? Oh, we gotta go all the way in. Okay. So now this area under here, in the middle, you'll have to use your small brush to get in there. And then in between his tail and his body and his wings, you'll have to use the smaller brush there. But I'm doing all the big areas first, then I'll go back with the smaller brush and do that. And if a little bit gets on the dragon, just as long as it's dry, you'll be able to touch it up with the dragon color, the green. I use the green. Now, if you want to do this the opposite, do a green mug, do a purple dragon, you can do that too. It's your piece and you decorate it however you would like. That's what art is. Art is whatever you want it to be. Okay, around these wings. Just take your time. You don't have to rush it like I am. I'm just doing this so that you could see how to do it. And, you know, for the video, I don't have to take my time too much. But you take your time and do a neat job. And always have your water bowl and paper towels, so in between you can wash your brush, and always dry it on the paper towel before you go into the next color, or the colors will run. Okay, now I'm going to switch to my smaller brush. Make sure all my paint is smooth with the big brush before I wash it. I'm flipping it in a little bit so I cover some of the green areas where I didn't get the green and there's still a little white showing. So I'm just flipping the purple on the inside. So now I'm going to put that in water. I'm going to go back with my smaller brush and I'm going to get in between his wings with the smaller brush. I have another one here too that's a little smaller. We'll try this one. Okay. You can never have enough brushes. Now I gave you two that, you know, will suffice to do this piece, but it's always a good idea to have some extra brushes. You ever see them on sale in Michael's if you like doing ceramics, or Amazon has some. Just pick up some brushes for acrylic paints. You don't want watercolor brushes, they're too soft. You want nylons. These are nylon brushes. Okay, got that area all done. Now the tricky area is up in between his, behind his head here, under his head, to get in here. Use your small brush to get in there. And get as much as you can. You might not be able to cover the whole entire area, but just do the best you can, what you can see. Yeah, see, I might have to go down from the top here. That's why I always do this first, because if I get it on the dragon, I'm going to cover the dragon with the green. And look at it from all directions. Go in from the side, both sides, like this way, and then turn it the other way, and then turn it get from the top. Okay, so I think I did pretty good getting in there. All right, and just look at it from the top and look at it from underneath. All right, now there are areas that probably could use a second coat, but I'm not doing that right now because I'm just showing you how to do it. So now what I would do is we'll do the green. I have mine in a palette because I don't have the pods, but you have the pods. If you've bought paint and you're using paint that you bought, then you need a palette, or even a piece of foil or a paper plate will work. I cover my palettes with foil because I'm able to just throw the foil away and I don't have to keep washing them all the time. So while I have the little brush in my hand, I'm going to edge. Now the red is going on top of the green, so just do the whole entire dragon in the green. And you can pause this video and come back to it if you want to just do this and not rush through it. You don't have to rush it. I work fast because I'm doing it on the video, but you don't have to rush it. Again, I'm trying to edge it very gently, very evenly with the smaller brush. Okay, scoop it up and then go back and go do the middle. First I do the edging. This is going to be time consuming, but you take your time. You want to do it neatly. Okay, and always make sure that if you have blobs in your paint, you pull it out. See how I'm pulling it out? I pull it out. I don't want my paint to have ridges and remain wet. Nice and smooth, long strokes to get rid of that paint that's in your brush before you dip for more paint. See, and this needs a little better edging on here. But like I said, for teaching purposes, I don't have to be as perfect as you do. You should be nice and neat and do the best job you can do. I want to thank all of you for watching this video and for picking up the kits at the library. And for those of you who don't have kits, you can patronize your local ceramic studio or go online. And there are many ceramic groups on Facebook, if you're on Facebook, that you can always order bisque, which is, this is bisque. When it's white like this and it sounds like that, that's a fired piece of clay, and it's called bisque, and you can get that shipped to you from many, many suppliers. There are many good ceramic companies out there that do, ship and supply people. I do this for the local libraries. I have shipped some also, but I do it mostly for the local libraries. And they order the kits from me, and then they have the patrons pick up the kits and they follow my YouTube videos. We are starting to go back more in person now, so I don't have as many videos up as I did during COVID. Okay, so I've got that one side done. And now I'm going to do some of his body. I don't think I'm going to do both sides, so you can just get the idea that you don't have to sit and watch me paint. But I'll do his body. I'll take a bigger brush so it goes a little faster. I'm making a mess over here. Okay, there we go. Swish the brushes, don't bang them in the bottom of the bowls. Okay, so now I'm going to take the bigger brush and do his body. And you could take, to get behind his head, take your small brush and get behind his head. I have a little purple in my brush here that I didn't wash it out too well, but it'll blend in. But you can go to the sink if you're not getting all your color out and wash it with a little soap and water. Get as much of this as I can so that I can show you what I did with the body. And the dots that I have on there with the silver, these are silver dots on here. You do that the last thing you do, because they will stay wet for quite a while and you don't want to smear them. And I have a lot of people have that happen, that they smear the dots. So do the dots last and don't touch the piece after that. Let them dry. If you have to go back and touch up the piece, do it after the dots are dry. And they don't have to be the silver. You can do them in red on the purple or green, but I thought there was a lot of green on this, so I didn't do it in green. Let's get his head done. Okay, just get most of his head done so you can get the idea, but you take your time and you do a neat job. All right, now I've got most of his head done. Now you see there's a lot of little white spots in these crevices. I put a little excess paint in my brush and push it in, because when you do the highlighting on the body, this color will remain in the crevices and the raised area will become a little lighter. So if you have white spots in the crevices, it's going to show. So make sure that you push your color down into those crevices. Okay, so I'm just going to do that for now. Okay, so at least it gives me a surface to work on. So I'm going to wash that brush. And I'm going to go back in and I'm going to do the red. So now the red I put into the sections of his wing. Take the red and just do it into the middle here. What I'm doing here. Try to form like a triangle. Within the wings. And you might need your smaller brush to do this. Okay, something like that. All right. And then leave the green outlining the wing. You don't want to have the reds touching each other. So you want to leave green in between. See what I'm doing there? Try to come to a point on the top, and you do that by using your small brush. All right, see that? I'm going to do one more. Oh, actually, there's two more. Trying to do it so you can see what I'm doing. Trying to figure out. I have two sections there. I have some green in between. Let's see. Oh yeah, we do. Okay. Whoops. Green on my fingers. Must be from the inside. Now when it comes over here, I'm going to have to use the small brush in order to get in here. So you see what I did? I did 4 sections with the green showing in between. Now, if you did this whole wing in the red and you didn't leave the green showing, once it's dry, you can go back and put the green in between it again. You can paint it in, okay? All right, so then they would do that on the other side also. I did it on this side, but you're going to be doing it on this side too. And they both have 4 sections, all right? Like 4, they're almost like triangles upside down. Okay, you're going to do that on both. And then we won't put the red. Yeah, I guess we can put the red on there yet. No, I think I'm going to be doing the lighter green that I gave you first. I gave you a lighter green. I'll do that first. I'm going to put that all over his body. And you put a little bit of paint in your brush, take it out on the paper towel, and highlight his body very gently, so that you keep the darker color in the crevices. Every time you dip, you put your brush on the paper towel to wipe out the color. Now this is called dry brushing, and they do sell dry brushing brushes, but you can still do it with the brush that you have. Can you see what I'm doing there? See the difference in the color? They might have used different greens on this one, I'm not sure. But it doesn't really matter as long as you dry brush one color that's lighter over the color that's underneath. So it's a lighter over the darker. And if you do it twice, I always do it at least twice, the color pops even more. See that? You see it even better now. All right. See what I'm doing. I'll try to do it so you can see it. You're not filling in the crevices. You're using the side of your brush just to lay color on the raised area. See that? And the same thing with the on his head, because even though I'm going to be doing some red on his head, I still put the green on his head. Now this is the second coat. You can see the second coat so much better than you can see the first coat. Do you see that there? All right. So it doesn't matter what colors you're using, it's just the technique. Because as you can see, I used a different green, I used a different purple. So you have these colors, you're going to be doing the same thing. You put the green on and you put the lighter green over it, dry brushed onto it, with nothing in your brush. You can do it all the way down his tail. Whoop, my red was wet. So you see what I just did there? I got that on there. So what I will do is I will go back and I will take the, like, oh no, that's green. I almost put red on there. And I'll paint the green back on there again. But you should let it dry and then you can do that. All right, you can always touch up. Okay, so now let's go to the red and let's paint a red tongue. Use your little brush and we put a red tongue on him. I think the red tongue is cool. Look at that. Okay, there's a red tongue. And I think that red eyes would be cute. I mean, if you have a marker, you can always do black eyes, but I'm going to do red eyes on this guy. And you could either paint them in with the little brush or use the handle of your brush to do a dot. I did red eyes on that guy. See him? Okay, so now his little mane here and around his nostrils and down the front chest area, I did red dry brushing just the same way I did the green, the lighter green on the darker green. So you put a little red in your brush and you take it out on the paper towel, and then you go on an angle with the side of the brush. Don't use the point in. Point in, you'll fill in the crevices. Okay, now this is this area here. You want it a little more solid, you could just keep going back, or you could paint it, but I dry brushed it on. Okay, there you go. And then I'm going to put a little bit on his nose. And then on his mane. Now his mane has crevices going this way, you go the opposite way, so that you can keep the green showing in the crevices. Can you see what I'm doing here? Oh, let's go this way. Do it again. See how the green stays in the crevices? Okay, see the mane? All right, and then if you want to do this a second time, you can go back and you can make it a little sharper, because I dry brush. If you paint it on, you wouldn't have to do that. Okay, I believe that part is done. Let me close up my colors so that they don't spill. And then I'm going to do the silver dots. Now, when I do dots, I work out of the cap of the jar, but if you have it in the those little strips I gave you, you can just work from those little strips. Just remember, they do stay wet for a very long time. Now, if you want your dots big, use the bigger handle, or you could even do this with a pencil eraser. You take the eraser and you dip it into the silver and put it on here. But I'm going to be using this. Let's do it on this side where I'm finished. Okay, now if I want them a little bigger and I press my brush down and they're too small, I circle it. I circle with the handle just to make them a little bigger. You see that? Okay, put this down. Don't put them too close together. It's supposed to be an accent, not a polka dotted piece. Okay, see that? Okay, put the silver down. See how little the first dot is? Now I just circle it with the handle. Make a little circle. Okay, I'll do one more. There we go. And there's our dragon mug. And like I said, if you want any kind of a sealer on it, Amazon sells them. This is a sealer that I have on here, and they have liquid sealers. Some people spray with Krylon spray, but if you do that, you have to do it outside because it can be toxic. And let your parents spray for you. Don't spray. And always spray outside. And I use Krylon spray. I was using sprays from Dunkin', but they've discontinued them, I believe, now. So there we go. Now, the only other thing I can say is if you want, you can put a little white dot. I don't know if I did that on him. I didn't, but it always looks cute for a little highlight in the eye. It kind of gives life to the eye. Shows a reflection of light. See the little white dot in there? Okay. And I mean, you could draw designs on the red area. You can do whatever you want. It's your piece. Go for it. Make it, your creation. Doesn't have to be like mine. But you have the colors, and thank you for watching this video. And I'd appreciate if you subscribe to me so you'll see any future videos that I have coming up. And I want to thank the library for asking me to do this for them. So thank you. Thank you again for watching, and I hope I'll see you again. Bye-bye.